Greetings, my brothers and sisters of the Discalced Carmelite Secular Order, and those who are aspirants and novices in formation, to all those others who are interested in what the secular order might be, what's its existence, what's its identity. And that's what we've been talking about. This is video number 42, I think, in the series. The first part of what we did, we talked about a book I wrote about what I thought were essential items of the identity and the functioning of the Discalced Carmelite Secular Order. Now we're doing the constitutions, which is fundamental. We'll start now with the number 7 of the constitutions. We did number 6. Took a long time because I went through the rule of St. Albert, because there was number 6 takes the ideas, what are the fundamental ideas of the rule of St. Albert that apply to the life of the secular order, right? But I thought it would be a good idea to see what the rule of St. Albert was. It was written around 1205, 1209. There's no exact date on it, but some of it applied to that time of life, that time in the history of the world. Some of it applied to people who lived the common life. Friars and nuns, we lived the common life. And the rest, others apply to those who are striving to put together a community and live a community life. So there are certain elements that belong to the secular order, and so we highlighted them. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different points from the rule of St. Albert for the application to the life of a secular order member. So the foundation of our identity as Carmelites, which we share with the Ocarm family, we share the identity that comes from the rule of St. Albert with the Ocarm family. There's lots of collaboration, cooperation in different parts of the world to present the spirituality of Carmel. Number 7 talks about the next point in history of the order, and the next point in the history of the charism, the new charism given to a woman who lived in the 16th century, Saint Teresa of Jesus, whom we are proud to call our mother. So number 7, I'll read number 7 all the way through, and then we'll talk about different points that are brought up in number 7. The origin of the Discalced Carmel is to be found in Saint Teresa of Jesus. She lived with profound faith in God's mercy, which strengthened her to persevere in prayer, humility, love for her brothers and sisters, and love for the church, leading her to the grace of spiritual matrimony. Her evangelical self-denial, disposition to service, and perseverance in the practice of the virtues are a daily guide to living the spiritual life. Her teachings on prayer and the spiritual life are essential to the formation of the secular order. This woman is our mother. She's the founder. God gave her a grace. And the grace that is given to her, we call it charism. The charism of the Discalced Carmelite order. Personally, I prefer the Teresian Carmelite order instead of being named after a piece of clothing, so shoes, not shoes. I prefer to call us the Teresian Carmelites, the Carmelites of St. Teresa of Jesus. Anyway, the origin of the Discalced Carmel is to be found in St. Teresa of Jesus. She is the foundress of the Discalced Carmelite family. She lived with profound faith in God's mercy. You've often seen maybe a picture of St. Teresa that has a thing going around her, and there's words written going around her, and it says, in Latin, the words are, Misericordias Domini in aeternum cantabo. Forever I will sing the mercies of the Lord. One cannot read St. Teresa and not be pointed to Christ, and not be pointed to God. Never does she point to herself. She's not right. She's writing very autobiographically, but that's not her point. Her point of interest is to make sure that you, me, that we understand the place of God in our lives and our relationship with God. She lived with a profound faith in God's mercy, which strengthened her. God's mercy strengthened the faith that she had in God's mercy, strengthened her to persevere. There's a wonderful word. To persevere. To persevere means to go through things that are difficult, to get to the other side. Persevere. To persevere in prayer. This is to persevere. It's not easy to make mental prayer. First of all, we have so much noise going on here. You can turn the radio off, you can turn the music off, you can turn the MP3 off, you can turn your telephone off, especially if it's a smartphone that interrupts all day long. Turn everything off. We still have noise. We have this voice inside of us that never keeps quiet, that constantly is talking. I have to quiet that voice down in order to persevere in prayer. Prayer is not easy. Saying prayers is easy. Blah, 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 blah. Saying prayers is part of praying. It's the easy part of prayer. But actually, to be in conversation with God is a very challenging thing. Very difficult thing. Sometimes prayer is boring. I tell the brothers all the time, prayer, real prayer, is on the other side of boring. If you persevere through boredom, not get up and go do things and not give up, not even just stop. If you persevere in mental prayer, in interior prayer, in meditation, if you persevere, to go through boredom and find on the other side of it what real prayer is. Persevere in prayer, in humility. Anybody can be humble for a day, but to be humble every day, I think that's a real challenge. To be humble every day. Love for her brothers and sisters, charity, concrete charity, being gracious, treating our brothers and sisters respectfully. And our brothers and sisters, I am a brother to the whole of creation. So perseverance in the love that we have for each other, love for the church, perseverance and love for the church. Saint Teresa had a difficult time sometimes from the church. She was persecuted. The apostolic delegate to Spain called her wandering, bothersome woman. She was called names. She was misunderstood. She had a difficult time. We, too, in our own day, have difficult times sometimes in persevering in our love for the church when there are so many things that are wrong and need to be corrected. And there are so many things where people have been hurt by the church. By the church, hurt. So perseverance and love for the church. That perseverance and prayer, humility, love for brothers and sisters, and love for the church, that perseverance led her to the grace of spiritual matrimony, led her to the highest point of the spiritual life. Her evangelical self-denial, penance, mortification, sacrifice, things that we offer to God, which evangelical self-denial have an evangelical purpose. The evangelical refers to the gospel, the fasting that Jesus did, the mortification of Jesus on the cross, the dying to self that is shown to us every time we look at the crucifix. This practice of this self-denial is part of our charism. As this Carmelites, sacrifice is part of our charism. Sacrifice of doing our will. Sacrifice of holding on to things. The mortification that we need to do to die to self, to selfishness, self-centeredness. Disposition to service. To want to be of service to the community. To want to be of service to the family. To want to be of service to the place of employment by doing a good job at whatever it is to do, not doing a mediocre job. And of course the charity that we show to our brothers and sisters in our community of the secular order. These things are wonderful. Disposition to service. Not disposition to be the boss. Disposition to serve the others in the community. And perseverance in the practice of the virtues are a daily guide to living the spiritual life. Practicing the virtues. We all know the theological virtues: faith, hope, charity. Those three theological virtues are virtues that are given to us. That's why they're called theological. They come from God and they're given to us in the moment of our baptism. Then the next set of virtues are the 4 cardinal virtues: justice, temperance, prudence, and fortitude. Those 4 virtues called the cardinal virtues. There's a wonderful, if you have access to the internet, there's a wonderful site on the internet called newadvent.com. newadvent.com. And in that place there's an encyclopedia of Catholic thought. And the articles are, it was written a long time ago. It was written in 1910, I think. But it's online. And you could look up the virtue of prudence, look up the virtue of fortitude, look up the virtue of temperance, look up the virtue of justice, and see what the virtues entails. Study the virtues so that you can practice the virtues. Her evangelical self-denial, disposition to service, and perseverance in the practice of the virtues are a daily guide for living the spiritual life. Look at those aspects: self-discipline, service to our brothers and sisters, whoever our brothers and sisters might be, perseverance in practicing the virtues. I can have the most wonderful hour of prayer alone in my room or sitting in the chapel, and I can think to myself, oh, I'm really growing in patience. And then 5 minutes later, when I'm mixing with the community, I lose my patience with somebody. So the practice of the virtues is what makes us holy, not knowledge of the virtues. We need to know in order to do. Her teachings on prayer and the spiritual life are essential to the formation of the secular order. Her teachings on prayer and the spiritual life are essential to the formation of the life of the secular order. We are Teresian Carmelites. We are Carmelites after the model of Saint Teresa. So, number 6, what we did last week and a few weeks before that, number 6 of the Constitutions puts down the fundamental basis, which is the rule of St. Albert, which all Carmelites share in. OCD, OCAR. All Carmelites share in the rule of St. Albert. We, the discalced Carmelites, we follow St. Teresa of Jesus in the way that she lived the spiritual life. Her teachings are essential. Her teachings on prayer. So the first foundation is Teresa. The second foundation is The first foundation is the rule of St. Albert. The second foundation is the person, life, teachings of St. Teresa of Jesus. And we will see in the next video, number 8, that St. Teresa had a companion given to her by God, according to our Father's constitutions, that St. John of the Cross was a gift to St. Teresa to help her make the charism unique, solid, identifiable. They're wonderful saints. St. Teresa referred to the hermits on Mount Carmel as the giants who went before us. St. Teresa herself, to me, is a giant. She's unique. It's just amazing to me what a glorious thing it is. And so we're so unworthy of this vocation to be a Carmelite. So proudly, not with pride in ourselves, but with pride in St. Teresa of Jesus, we humbly try to persevere in the practice of the faith so that we might reach the spiritual matrimony, so that we might reach the high point of existence, love of God that is complete. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to, and to hit the bell for the alert. And you can make any comments that you would like to make in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them. Also, I want to remind you about my books on the meditations on the teaching of St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Jesus. Here's the copy that's readily available from the Philippines. But there is, for those in English-speaking countries that have Amazon, you can order the books through Amazon. Has a different cover, differently, but the content is the same. So thank you very much, and God bless you, and see you the next time.